Why do you keep asking for money, but never prepare to receive it? Did you think I wasn't listening when you cried in the dark? I told my messenger to bring you this prayer. Yes, this one. Because the moment you speak it, things will begin to move. I told them, this prayer will bring you money. You were staring at your phone again this morning, scrolling through bills, notifications, and unopened emails that scream, past due. You looked up, eyes wet, whispering, God, I don't know what else to do. And then you saw this video. This isn't a coincidence. It's a divine appointment. You've carried the burden alone, silent panic, endless waiting, watching others thrive while you just survive. But I saw it all. The declined cards, the skipped meals, the smile you fake in front of your kids. This is not just a video. This is a message I've been waiting to deliver to you, right now. A spiritual breakthrough wrapped in digital form. This isn't entertainment. This isn't intervention. This is where everything begins to shift. But before I send the money, I need you to hear this first. The real prayer isn't just something you say. It's something you become. You didn't have to tell me you were hurting. I already knew. Before you clicked this video, before your lips could form the words, God, help me, I was already moving toward you. My child, you are not invisible. Not to me. You've measured my silence as absence, but I've been nearer than your breath. While you've been counting bills, I've been counting tears. And every one of them is sacred. Every night you stayed awake, wondering if you'd make it through the week. I was there, holding you together when everything felt like it was falling apart. I never needed your perfection. I needed your honesty. Because faith doesn't start when you have money. Faith starts when you have nothing left but me. Do you remember the story of Hagar, alone in the wilderness, abandoned and afraid? She thought no one saw her. But I did. She called me El Roi, the God who sees. And I provided for her in a place where provision was impossible. You are no different. You don't need a new job first. You don't need a better resume. You don't need more connections. You need to believe that the moment you speak this prayer, you align with the provider, not just the provision. Because I don't just see your lack. I see the future I've already planned for you. And it's not empty. It's overflowing. But before I fill your hands, I must first fill your heart with what's been missing. In the next part, I'll tell you about the sacred prayer I preserved for this exact moment. May your ears be opened. May your faith begin to stir. And may you know deep in your soul, you are seen, loved, and not forgotten. This is not a new prayer. It is older than you can imagine, and it was always meant for you. You've asked me for help, and now I'm answering with something rare. Not a secret, but a sacred inheritance that generations have whispered when hope was gone. This prayer didn't begin with you. It has been spoken by the forgotten, the desperate, the faithful, and I've answered it every time. It came from the mouths of widows who had no oil left, from prophets who stood alone in famine, from mothers who had nothing left to give but a trembling amen. And every time they said it, I moved. I didn't give them a lottery ticket. I gave them strategy. I gave them supply. I gave them supernatural favor. Because this prayer isn't about manipulating me, it's about aligning with me. Remember Elijah and the widow of Zarephath? She had nothing but flour and oil, but she gave anyway and spoke words of trust instead of fear. What looked like her last meal became her forever supply. Why? Because she didn't just speak the prayer. She believed the one who hears it. You weren't just born into your bloodline, you were born into a lineage of faith. And this prayer is your inheritance. It's not a formula, it's a covenant. When you speak it with belief, you step into the same divine river that carried generations before you. You're not starting from nothing. You're starting from everything heaven has stored up for you. Now that you know where this prayer came from, let me show you why it hasn't worked for you yet. May your spirit remember the prayers your ancestors whispered in faith. May your heart awaken to the divine rhythm of my provision. And may this prayer, spoken through you, echo across heaven once more. You've been speaking to me, but you haven't been walking with me. Yes, the prayer is powerful. Yes, it moves heaven. But there is something blocking the flow, and it's not my silence. It's the posture of your heart. Many pray as if they're trying to convince me. But my child, I don't respond to desperation. I respond to alignment. You cannot pray like a beggar and expect to receive like an heir. You cannot ask me to bless what you refuse to surrender. When your mouth says, "I trust you," but your thoughts are filled with panic, your actions driven by fear, and your heart closed by bitterness, you're speaking the right words, but with the wrong spirit. Think of the Israelites. They prayed for freedom. But when I delivered them, they still thought like slaves. They doubted me at every turn, even after I split the sea. And what about the rich young ruler? He kept all the commandments, but couldn't release his grip on what he owned. He prayed to follow me, but his money owned him. You cannot receive what your hands are too afraid to open for. You cannot see my abundance if you're still worshiping control. Sometimes I delay provision, not to punish you, but to purify you, so that when the blessing comes, it won't destroy you. This prayer isn't just about attracting money, it's about transforming who you are when it arrives. Now that your posture is shifting, let me teach you the power behind saying this prayer 7 times. May the fear leave your mind, may control loosen its grip on your soul, and may your spirit rise in holy alignment with me, the God who hears and provides. Say it once, and the heavens hear. Say it 7 times, and the heavens open. Now that your heart is open, I can teach you something most forget. There is power not just in what you say, but in how often you say it. The number 7 was never random in my design. It is the number of completion. I used it to build the world. 7 days, 7 colors in the rainbow, 7 times Joshua marched around Jericho. Each repetition isn't just for me, it's for you. Every time you say this prayer, your fear weakens. Every time you repeat it, your faith strengthens. By the 7th, you are no longer just speaking, you are prophesying. Because repetition in faith is spiritual warfare. And the enemy can't stand a soul that refuses to speak defeat. Do you remember Naaman, the leper? I told him to wash 7 times in the Jordan. Not 6, not 3, 7. Because the healing was tied not just to the action, but to the obedience, to the willingness to finish the process. When you repeat this prayer 7 times, you walk into the river of transformation and rise whole. The power is not in the length of the prayer. It's in the layering of your belief. Every time you say it, you're peeling away another layer of fear, doubt, and unbelief. And by the 7th, your voice no longer comes from earth, it echoes heaven. Now prepare your soul, because you are about to say this ancient prayer with me. May your lips be bold, may your heart be steady, and may every word you speak strike the gates of lack until they shatter in my name. The moment these words leave your mouth, angels are released. Speak them slowly, speak them 7 times, and watch what I do. Now that your posture is pure and your faith is stirred, it's time. This is the prayer I have waited for you to speak, not just with your lips, but with your soul. When you say it with belief, lack begins to unravel. Heaven begins to respond. This is not a charm, it is a covenant. When you speak this prayer 7 times, you are placing your need into my hands and your trust into my will. Don't rush, don't recite, declare it. With every repetition, you aren't just talking to me, you're commanding your doubt to leave. You're realigning your spirit, you're breaking generational limits, you are agreeing with abundance. Heavenly Father, source of all abundance, I come before you, not as a beggar, but as your child. You are Jehovah Jireh, my provider. I release my fears, doubts, and every belief in lack. Open the floodgates of heaven over my life. Break every financial barrier. Let opportunities, wisdom, and divine provision flow to me now. I trust you, I believe you, I receive your abundance. Now repeat this prayer 7 times, each time with deeper conviction, each time with greater expectation, each time with less fear and more faith. Let the 7th time be a declaration. This prayer has already been answered. You've now done something few dare to do. You've spoken the language of heaven from a place of surrender. This prayer will not return empty. It is already echoing in my courts. The answers are moving. But before I release the flood, I must show you what abundance truly is and what it's not. May every word you spoke rise like incense before me. May the 7th echo release supernatural supply, and may you never again question if I hear you, for I do. You ask me for money, but I want to give you so much more. You've spoken the prayer, you've believed, and now you wait. But child, what I am preparing for you doesn't come in dollars alone. True abundance begins long before the money arrives. You have been taught to chase the outcome, not the overflow. But I am not interested in just filling your bank account. I want to fill your soul. Because money without peace becomes a prison. Success without purpose becomes a burden. When I say I will bless you, I mean peace that outlasts the storm, wisdom that multiplies what little you have, relationships that carry my love, favor that opens doors no man can shut. And yes, I will also send provision. But my kind of wealth doesn't just add to your life, it transforms it. Think of Joseph in Egypt. When famine came, he didn't just survive, he had strategy. He wasn't rich because of silver, he was rich because I gave him vision, favor, leadership that fed nations. Abundance is what happens when I breathe on every area of your life. Not just your income, but your insight, your influence, your impact. You were never meant to just make ends meet. You were designed to overflow. But that overflow is more than financial. It is eternal. You will become a wellspring that others drink from. And from that well, I will keep pouring more. Not for greed, but for glory. But even now, something still blocks many from receiving it. Let me show you the 3 spirits that keep people broke. May you never again limit abundance to what you can count. May you begin to feel the wealth of my peace, the treasure of wisdom, and the joy of a purpose-filled life. You are already richer than you know. You thought it was a money problem, but it was a spirit problem. My child, I am not just the God who blesses. I am also the God who reveals what stands in your way. If you've prayed, declared, believed, yet still feel stuck, it's time to confront what's been stealing from you. There are 3 spirits that have followed my people from generation to generation, and many never recognize them. 1. The spirit of fear. It whispers, what if God doesn't show up? It paralyzes you from stepping into opportunities I've already prepared. Fear is not humility, it's agreement with the enemy. 2. The spirit of scarcity. It tells you there's never enough. It makes you hoard, hustle, and fight for crumbs when I've set a feast before you. Scarcity is a lie that turns my children into slaves of survival. 3. The spirit of self-reliance. It says, I can fix this on my own. It keeps you praying, but still trying to control the outcome. This spirit shuts me out, because where there is no surrender, there can be no miracle. Do you remember Peter walking on water? He was doing the impossible, until fear pulled him under. The storm didn't drown him. Doubt did. And still, I reached out and caught him. Many of my children are drowning financially, not because I haven't sent help, but because these spirits have convinced them to stay in the boat of limitation. You must evict what doesn't belong in your spirit. You cannot serve me fully while entertaining fear, scarcity, and control. It's time to renounce them, with your voice and your faith. Say this now. I rebuke the spirit of fear. I reject the lie of scarcity. I release control and trust you, Lord. Now the real blessing can begin. Because what I'm about to show you will explain why giving doesn't take from you. It multiplies you. May every false spirit lose its grip on your mind. May your soul awaken to my truth. And may you finally walk in the freedom of a heart no longer held hostage by lies. The world says, hold on to what you have. I say, let it go, and I'll multiply it. Now that the spirits of fear, scarcity, and control are broken, you are ready to walk in the law of kingdom provision. And this law does not work like the world's. In the world's system, giving feels like subtraction. But in my kingdom, giving is multiplication. Because when you give in faith, not out of guilt, not for performance, but from love and trust, you unlock the law of overflow. This isn't about a transaction, it's about transformation. When you open your hand to bless others, you prove that your trust is in me, not in your wallet, and that trust becomes a magnet for miracles. Remember the boy with 5 loaves and 2 fish? He gave what he had. It wasn't enough to feed thousands until he placed it in my hands. And what did I do? I didn't just meet the need, I exceeded it. 12 baskets overflowed. Because when you give to me, nothing is ever lost. It only grows. Giving breaks the back of greed. Giving silences the spirit of lack. Giving creates room for more. If you are faithful with little, I can trust you with much. But you must release it before I can refill it. Let me ask you, who have you been withholding from? What seed is sitting in your hand that was meant to unlock your harvest? Because some of you have already received a miracle, but you missed it, because it didn't look like money. Let me show you. May your hand never be too full to give. May your heart never be too afraid to release. And may you see the flood of my provision follow every act of faith-filled generosity. You prayed for a miracle and then walked right past it. You thought I was silent. You thought I hadn't answered. But what if the blessing came and you didn't recognize it? You expected cash in an envelope, a direct deposit, a stranger handing you a check. But I don't always send what you expect. I send what you need. Sometimes I send a connection, a divine idea, an invitation, a nudge in your spirit that says, apply here, or call that person. But because it wasn't labeled money, you ignored it. You prayed for provision, and I gave you opportunity. You asked for a door, and I gave you the key. Remember Elijah and the widow? She had nothing left but a handful of flour. She thought she was preparing her last meal, but I had already sent her a miracle, disguised as a hungry prophet. When she opened her hands in obedience, her supply never ran out. She didn't miss the miracle. She recognized it. How many of your blessings have worn the clothing of inconvenience, uncertainty, small beginnings? Not all miracles look miraculous at first. Sometimes I send answers wrapped in discomfort, because what grows your faith will first stretch it. You must not only pray for provision, you must be present enough to perceive it. Look again. The miracle may already be sitting in your inbox, on your phone, in your daily routine, hidden in plain sight, waiting for your yes. Now that your eyes are open, it's time for me to release the final blessing, with your name on it. May you never overlook another door I open. May your spirit be alert to divine nudges, and may gratitude unlock what you've already received but have not yet claimed. This blessing was written with your name on it before you were born. You've prayed, you've surrendered, you've aligned, and now I am ready to release what has been waiting for you in the storehouses of heaven. There are blessings with your name carved into them. Not generic favor, but custom-designed provision, measured by my mercy and released in my timing. You didn't earn this. You believed for it, and that faith, that small but stubborn seed, has now opened the floodgates. Angels have already been dispatched. Doors are already opening. Delays are turning into deliverance. Provision is moving toward you, even now. Just like I sent manna to the Israelites every morning, just enough for each day, so too will I supply exactly what you need for this season. And just like I told Abraham, in blessing, I will bless you. I am not finished with you. This is only the beginning. My child, stop living like you're waiting. Start living like you've already received. Speak, act, walk like someone who knows heaven is backing them, because it is. I am. This is not a temporary wave. This is a shift. The old season of scraping and surviving is ending. Now begins your season of peace, provision, and purpose. Say these words with me. I receive this blessing. I claim what you have prepared for me. I walk forward in faith, never in fear. I am no longer waiting. I am living in your abundance, starting now. May this moment be sealed in your soul. May your name echo in the courts of heaven. And may you walk every step from this day forward as a child of the King, bold, blessed, and unshakably provided for. If this message pierced your spirit, comment, I receive. Share this video with someone who needs to know God has not forgotten them. Subscribe for daily prayers. This is your sacred space for transformation, and return tomorrow, because the next miracle may already be on its way.